It began on a crisp autumn morning. A soft breeze rustled through the trees, sending golden leaves spiraling to the ground. Evelyn had just stepped out onto her modest porch, a steaming cup of coffee in hand, when she saw it, a small, curious object resting near her doormat. It was a silver button, tarnished but intricately engraved with tiny symbols she couldn't decipher. She frowned, puzzled, but eventually shrugged it off, thinking perhaps it had fallen from a passerby's coat. By the next morning, she had all but forgotten the button. But as she opened the door to greet the day, there it was again. Another object. This time, a smooth, oval stone etched with delicate patterns. She picked it up, turning it over in her hand, and glanced around. That's when she saw the cat. The animal sat on the edge of her yard, a scruffy, ash-grey feline with piercing green eyes. It stared at her, tail flicking before slinking away into the bushes. Evelyn. Odd. Evelyn muttered to herself, tucking the stone into her pocket. The pattern repeated over the following days. Each morning, Evelyn found a new item on her porch. There was an antique key, its surface rusted but its shape still elegant. A fragment of sea glass that shimmered in the sunlight, and even a tiny wooden carving of a bird, worn smooth with age. Each time, the grey cat was nearby, watching her with an intensity that felt almost human. Curiosity took root in Evelyn's mind. Who was leaving these objects, and why? And how did that cat fit into it all? On the 5th day, she decided to follow the feline. Evelyn returned home with the box, the cat trailing behind her like a shadow. She spent the rest of the day examining her find. The papers turned out to be letters, written in an elegant, looping script that spoke of hidden fortunes and family secrets. Each object she had received from the cat began to take on new significance. The silver button was mentioned in one letter as belonging to Samuel Whitaker's coat, a man known to have a penchant for treasure hunting. The carved bird matched a sketch of an artifact described as a marker. The oval stone bore symbols that matched the ones etched onto a map included among the papers. The map, Evelyn realized, was a coded set of directions to something significant. The key, she guessed, might unlock it. And then there was the ring. Evelyn couldn't shake the feeling that it was the centerpiece of the mystery. She slipped it onto her finger and immediately felt a strange warmth spread through her hand, as if the ring recognized her. The next morning, the grey cat was back on her porch, but this time it brought no object. Instead, it meowed loudly, pacing in circles until Evelyn followed it again. The trail led her to an old, decrepit house at the edge of town, a place she'd passed by countless times without giving it a second thought. The cat darted inside through a broken window, and Evelyn hesitated before stepping through the rotting front door. The house smelled of mildew and neglect, its wooden floors creaking under her weight. She followed the cat to what appeared to be a study, where a portrait hung crookedly on the wall. The man in the painting bore a striking resemblance to the face she'd seen etched on one of the coins. Beneath the portrait was a desk, and on it lay an open journal. Its pages detailed the life of Samuel Whitaker, a reclusive treasure hunter who had vanished decades ago. The journal's final entry mentioned a ring, the very same one Evelyn now wore, and spoke of it as a key to unlocking his greatest discovery. Each of the objects began to click into place as pieces of a larger puzzle. The button and bird marked specific locations noted on the map. The sea glass was described as a signal left in the woods, a glimmering clue meant to lead to an ancient oak tree where Samuel had hidden his life's work. It was when Evelyn began studying the symbols on the stone more closely that everything truly came together. The etchings matched not only those on the map, but also the inscription within the ring's band. She realized they formed a sequence, a set of coordinates pointing to a precise location. Additionally, the letters hinted that Samuel had chosen the oak tree as it was a place of personal significance, a sanctuary where he had often gone to reflect and plan. The key she had found was the final piece. It was referenced in one letter as a means to access a hidden mechanism beneath the tree, something Samuel had crafted to ensure only someone worthy could find his treasure. Evelyn cross-referenced everything: the map's landmarks, the journal's clues, and the objects themselves, each of which corresponded to stages of the journey. The bird carving marked freedom, guiding her to the study. The sea glass and its description led her through the woods, while the button tied the objects to Samuel's personal story. Piece by piece, she reconstructed the path Samuel had left behind. The realization hit her with a mix of excitement and disbelief. The treasure was hidden not far from where she had already been searching, beneath the ancient oak tree she had passed so many times. Evelyn ventured back into the woods at dawn, with the grey cat leading the way. They stopped at the base of the oak tree. As she placed the key into a notch she hadn't noticed before, the ground trembled and the tree split open to reveal a staircase spiraling into the earth. At the bottom of the staircase, Evelyn found herself in a chamber glittering with treasures, gold coins, artifacts, and jewels. But there was something else too. A pedestal in the center of the room held a book with the same looping script as Samuel's journal. It detailed the ultimate twist. The treasure was not meant for Samuel alone. He had hidden it for someone who could unravel the clues, someone with the patience and determination to see beyond greed. Evelyn's hands trembled as she picked up the book. A note from Samuel Whitaker himself lay there with the message: "You've proven yourself. The treasure is yours to share with the world. But remember, it was never about wealth. It was about understanding the journey." Evelyn stood there alone with the treasure and a profound sense of responsibility. She chose to honor Samuel's wishes, preserving the artifacts in a museum and sharing his story. Evelyn learned that the greatest rewards weren't in the gold or jewels, but in the journey that brought her there. The grey cat, now an ordinary feline once more, remained by her side, a quiet reminder that the world still held secrets, waiting to be uncovered. And so, Evelyn discovered that curiosity not only uncovers hidden joys, but reveals the truest treasures of all, the lessons we learn along the way. Months passed, but Evelyn's life was forever changed. She became a local celebrity, known as the woman who discovered Samuel Whitaker's legendary treasure. People came from all over to see the artifacts she'd placed in the museum, marveling at the craftsmanship and the stories behind them. Evelyn, however, remained humble, knowing the true reward was far more personal. One night, as she sat on her porch watching the stars, the grey cat returned. It jumped onto her lap and nuzzled her hand. She smiled, stroking its fur. "Back again, huh? Found something new?" The cat leapt down and darted off into the darkness, pausing once to look back at her. Evelyn felt the familiar pull of curiosity and followed. This time, the cat led her to a small clearing in the woods, where moonlight bathed a peculiar stone altar. It was covered in the same intricate carvings as the objects she'd found before. At its center was a small indentation, perfectly shaped to hold the ring. With her heart pounding, Evelyn slipped the ring off her finger and placed it into the groove. The altar glowed faintly, and a hidden compartment slid open, revealing another map. This one was newer, drawn with a modern hand, and it depicted a location far beyond the woods. In the margin, there was a single line of text: "The journey continues for those who seek." Evelyn knew her adventure was far from over. The treasures she'd found were only the beginning, and the world still held mysteries waiting to be uncovered. With the grey cat by her side, she stepped forward into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever secrets lay ahead.